I don't believe that women should have to suffer in silence. And I would say 99% of all of our cases, no one has ever heard of, no one ever will hear of. They will not be discussed publicly unless and until they end up in a court of law, but most are settled confidentially. So you'll never hear about them. Yes, they will have to describe what happened to them to the opposing party. And in a court of law, if it gets to trial, which most cases won't. But some decide to speak out publicly. And speaking out publicly helps them to be empowered, actually, in many cases. And also, it helps to inspire other women to know that they can stand up and fight back, that they don't have to be victimized. If they are victimized, that they can move on to the next stage, which is to become a survivor, and then finally to the next stage, which is to be a fighter for change. So they can evolve and make others accountable for the wrongs that have been inflicted upon them. It's about accountability. It's about transparency. And it's about change. It's about justice, most of all. It really depends on the case. Sometimes it's like an educational moment or opportunity. And sometimes it's strategic. Sometimes it's both. For example, we had a case years ago of AIDS discrimination. Our client Paul Jasperson went to Jessica's nail salon to get a pedicure. He made an appointment. Then they heard that he had AIDS and they called and canceled it, or that he was HIV positive at the time. They canceled it. And we fought them for 16 years. We said that's discrimination. And my client spoke out and said, I'm not going to take this type of discrimination. It's wrong, and it's also illegal. And by doing so, he let other businesses know that people who are HIV positive need to be treated with respect and dignity and have a right to enjoy their rights to be free of discrimination under the law. That sends a message not only to Jessica's nail salon, but to other businesses as well, that you better watch yourself, that you might find yourself on the wrong end of a lawsuit and being spoken of publicly if you make the big mistake of discriminating. So it's a teaching moment, and I know that Paul was very happy that he did that. He was never sorry that he did that. And even though we passed away at some point, we continued the battle even after his death. It's a case-by-case analysis of what we're trying to accomplish in the case and how best to accomplish it. There's no one general rule, one size fits all. It really depends on the case. As I said, most of the time you'll never hear about most of my cases, and every once in a while, for example, I'll get a call from the LA Times or someone else saying, oh, we just found out that you filed this case. Nobody told us. And they just find it. But most of the time, they will never know what we're doing. And that's the way it should be, because what is best for the client is what's most important.